Now what? Yes, indeed. Now what? I'm going to set this down for a moment. So as Kevin was saying, you're going to self-validate, and we're going to trust that you're validating 100%. As he said, you have to pass 100% of the tests. Now, when you click that request to submit, now it's going to come to us. And not only are we going to run all of those same tests that you've already run to validate that you did pass them 100%, we're also going to throw in some extra tests, some tests that we run internally that we don't make public to ensure that your app is going to be appropriate. One of the things that you've got to remember is when you're developing for the vehicle is it is not the same as developing for a device. It's not the same as developing for a Sonos or a desktop, a tabletop, a TV top. None of those go 70 miles an hour, or quite possibly faster if you've got a 2014 Mustang GT 500 that has 662 horsepower and is a lot of fun to drive on a track. And we take it very seriously. We like to be very fun and have a lot of fun with what we're doing when we talk to the developers. But the reality is, you're creating something that's for a vehicle. You're creating something that somebody is going to have to pay attention to. One of the big things that we really look at is called driver workload. So the overall term that we use is distracted driver or driver distraction. But driver workload is a very important part that gets missed. There was a question about tabulating the best uses and the best features. The driver workload aspect is something that actually kind of slides by, and if you don't really pay attention to it, you can really be denied a launch approval. And when we start talking about driver workload, is how long is that person thinking about something that isn't them driving? How long are they thinking about pushing the next button or listening to a reply, or how many items do they have to deep dive before they can do the next thing? How long? It's not just the eyes off the road, although we always talk about eyes on the road, hands on the wheel, but it's also how long are they not thinking about driving? And that's a very, very important aspect. So I want people to make sure that you take that away before you start developing or as you're developing. As Kevin said, the vehicle is by far the best way to really test that. With the AppLink emulator, you can hook up and start doing a few things. With our lovely TDKs, you can do even more. I mean, this thing literally thinks it is a vehicle. If we put wheels on it, I'm afraid it would actually drive away at some point. But if you don't try it out in a vehicle, you can rent a vehicle if you don't have a Ford vehicle. I'm just going to assume everybody in here has a Ford vehicle already, so we're not even, you know exactly what I'm talking about. If that doesn't happen to be the case, renting one, borrowing one, whatever it takes to really understand what your app is going to do when somebody is driving, that's a different use case than you've ever come across as a developer. I can guarantee you that. So really be cognizant of that when you're developing. We do have materials on the developer site that we have created, and we also link to different sets of guidelines by region. We've got JAMA for the Asian market. We've got ESOP for Europe, and we've of course got NHTSA, our friends at NHTSA, here for the US. Some of the things that Kevin showed you as well with the App ID and the testing and validation suites. Since you're all here and we're all friends, and I'm sure nobody else is tweeting this out loud and sending this out, we're actually working right now on a really nice redesign of the entire site. So all of those things that you have to download or all of those things that you have to fill out, it's all going to be a nice HTML, very nice little system setup, very nice profile for you, and we're really excited to be able to launch that and enhance the tools. We've been taking the feedback that our developer community has been giving us and really trying to tweak it and really trying to be producing the best interaction and the best opportunity for all of you in the community, which if we didn't say previously, we are now at 10,500 registered community members. And so thank you very much. We're very, very happy with that. And we hope to see some really, really cool and really, really innovative apps coming out of that. So when we talk about the innovation that you guys bring back to us, and we talk about what can be, bless you, we talk about the things that you can do with that in the vehicle. This is why we're here today. This is why we're having a hackathon tonight. This is why we're running the app pursuit. I'll do a little more housekeeping right now before I finish up while I've got half of your attention or half divided attention. And let you know that, so that we've talked again, we've got the wonderful reception that we'll do right after I stop yammering here. But after that, when we have the hackathon is open to everybody. You don't have to be participating and competing in the event. If you want to hang out for a couple of hours, first off, we're going to have a bonus session number 7 Aaron's going to get up and do some more deep dive into the SDKs and show you some of the RPCs and how they actually work. So that's just another good learning point. But if you just want to, mess around on a TDK for a while, really understand, talk to the developer team, get some time with them. You don't have to be competing to be in the hack, so please join us for the hack. We do want you to be in the competition as well, though, because we're very excited about that. Just a couple of notes on that again, as we've been talking about it. You will have the full 12 hours tonight to hack, and you're also going to have 6 hours of support in the Ford exhibit, in the CCE exhibit downstairs on Tuesday and Wednesday, and then we'll be doing our presentations there on Thursday morning starting at 11. A very important part on that, and we've run a few hacks in our time, and we want you to bring that innovation. We want you to bring what you've done and what you're working on and your ideas. So it is not incumbent on you that you have a fully polished app to be able to present. We want to know what your ideas are, and we want to see them, and we want to see the work that you've been doing. Show us what you've done in the 24 hours that you've had to work on it. It doesn't have to be market ready. It can be a really good idea with the work. That's really what we're judging. We're looking for innovation and creativity. You're going to have access to the Ford vehicle data. You're going to have access to City of LA data. We want to see something come out of that. We don't want you to say, oh, I didn't quite get to the end of it. Because the reality is, if you make the finals, you're going to have 2 months to work on that. You're going to have 2 months to make that a refined app. We're going to give you a TDK of your own to take with you to make sure that you can do that. And then you'll come back to the LA Auto Show with us, and you'll be able to show that off, and then we'll be judging them there as well. I think that's all of my housekeeping pieces that I wanted to do. So we'll talk about, now what? We've already gone through that. So one of the fun things that we talk about in the now what is our global opportunities. You have met Scott Lyons, and you have met Xiaoling Xiao. The three of us are your business contacts. When you want to get into the car, you don't have to be worrying about, am I building this as a US developer for the US market? Am I building this as a European developer for the European market, and so on? We truly are a global company, and we are truly opening the doorways, to all of mankind around the world. You can build an app for a different market. You don't have to be specifically in your market to build that app. If there is a demographic that you're looking for, maybe expats, to a certain country, you can go after that audience. That's available. We have the ability for you to launch in pretty much any country where Sync is available and AppLink is offered, and that's what we want. We want to have the different types of apps. We want to have that innovation and cross borders that way. We're not looking for, well, this is where I am and this is where I built. The 60 to 70 apps that we have right now, and that's how they've come in that way. They've said, okay, we've looked for those guys to show our developer community how it can be done. We've got apps that work globally, and we've got apps that work just in a certain country. They're all acceptable. They're all very acceptable and very something that we want to see. And what we're going to be able to return to you then is to help you gain discoverability. If you develop mobile apps, if you've got them in the market right now, you probably have the same problem that everybody else has, because there are 1.2 million apps in the Android iTunes, or excuse me, in the Apple iTunes store, and there are 1.3 million apps in the Android Google store. Google Android store, it's in there somewhere. That's a lot of apps. As I was just saying, we have about 66 apps right now. It's hard enough getting eyeballs on your app competing against all of those guys. So how do you do that to let them know that it even works in a Ford vehicle? How do you let these owners know that? And that's where we want to help out. We've now got the app catalog. App catalog is only going to be AppLink apps. You're not going to see a non-AppLink app sitting next to your app and people have to go find it. We're not going to be opening it up and sourcing out all kinds of other opportunities for other developers. This is your domain. This is where you can actually reach people. So we've got a couple of different ways for this as well. We've got native versions. And in the native version, you're going to have the same typical experience that you would have in an app store, but it's not going to be an app store. It is a true catalog. You're going to be able to, the end user, and a bunch of us do have this as a prototype on our devices, happy to show it to you, happy to go through the experience. But really what you're looking at here is something customary. We're not trying to change the way that people discover your app. We're trying to make it easier for them. So you're going to have the same type of category, the same type of taxonomy that you would see in an app store. They're going to be able to see the full page details and read about the app. What does it do? What are the 5-star ratings? The same type of things. What we're also going to add in is what are the in-car features and voice commands and button presses? How do you actually use this app in the vehicle? All of this is going to be tied together, and then when they want to get the app, what we're going to do is take them to the regular place where they're accustomed to getting the app. The iTunes Store, the Google Play Store, Baidu, China Mobile, China Unicom, Amazon. It doesn't matter. Where do you own your customers? Where do you deliver your content to your customers? That's where we will send them. We're not going to try to stick ourselves into the vending machine and make everybody learn a whole brand new way. They're your customers. We want to send them to you. We've got it available on the web as well, and you can get to these through the regular Ford support sites. So we're going to have the same again capability where they will be able to go to the Google Store, to the App Store. I'll just start using a general term. And everybody is doing it, a little bit different. They own it in their own areas, and they're going to present the user experience that they're used to in the Ford the Ford websites around the world. This is just a couple of options, a couple of examples that are going live. The UK version is live right now, I believe. Somebody give me a yes, and we'll just say it is. It's a good idea. So again, it's the same idea. You're going to have the details page. You're going to have the what are the commands, what are the voice commands. You're going to be able to then go through and get to the App Store and actually complete that download. All of this is going to be working together out of one central database. You don't have to submit in France and then submit in China and then submit in Brazil. We're going to take this in, we're going to have one simple database, and what we're going to do is use simple logic to ensure that we're only showing apps that are available in each country to the users in that country. So we had Dave Mitchell on stage before, and Pandora is not available in Italy. If you're in Italy and you go to the catalog, you're not going to see Pandora. We're not going to make you search and try to figure out, does this work? Is this compatible? It just won't even be there. So you don't have to worry about that as well. Now, once they come into that, as I was saying, we're then going to send them to the appropriate app store as well. The app stores are going to be provided by you. We're not having a perfunctory list. If you say, I distribute in these 3 app stores, we're going to give those same options to the end users when they want to download. The example here showing, of course, that there is no Google Play in China, so we wouldn't send you there. We would try, or we could try, but it'd be a bad user experience, and none of us want that. So now that you've gotten discovered, what else is there? There's marketing options. These are a couple of the high-level marketing things that we've done with some partners. This is actually Pandora and MLB at Bat. We did a very nice integration with them. We're not promising that that's the kind of exposure that you're going to get, but it's always possible. Again, we talk about the innovation, we talk about the creativity, and the things that are going to come from you. So when you make a great app, when you make something that is really compelling, that really makes sense, we're going to show you some love. That's the whole idea. You've also got that opportunity on your own to go out and promote that your app works in a Ford vehicle. You're going to get access to logos and taglines and things that you can show on your website, that you can tell to your customers, hey, you want to use this, start using it. And all of this, again, is a global flavor. There's opportunities to market within the region where you want to be able to distribute. It's not a one-and-done type of thing. So now that we've gone through soup to nuts, we've gone through the head unit, we've gone through the integration, we've told you about the SDK, you're going to learn a little bit more of that tonight at the hack. We've talked about testing and validation, and we've talked about getting into the vehicle and getting discovered. So what we want now is we want the innovation from you. We want you to return. We want you to reflect what we're giving you. We want to give you the tools, develop something awesome for us, develop something awesome for you, and develop something awesome for the owners, for the end users. That's really why we talk about SDL. That's why it's been important, and I hope that we've reiterated that throughout the day, and I hope that you guys are taking that to heart and you really see the opportunity and want to come party with Ford.